God says, "My child, there are moments in life when darkness feels overwhelming, when fear grips the heart, and when the weight of uncertainty seems impossible to bear." This is the story of a mother whose life teetered on the edge of despair, whose body and soul were threatened, yet who discovered in the most profound way that my protection never leaves you, that my angels are always near, and that no life under my care can be taken without my permission. She was about to die, my child, yet in that moment of absolute danger, I acted, and her baby was saved, cradled in the hands of divine mercy. The mother's situation was critical. Her body, exhausted and fragile, struggled against the complications that arose during her pregnancy. Every pulse of fear that shot through her heart mirrored the fragility of the life growing within her. She could feel the heaviness pressing down, the uncertainty tightening around her chest, and the silent terror that no medicine, no doctor, no human effort could fully remove. In those moments, it would have been natural to despair, to feel abandoned, to lose hope. But I was there, my child, as I am always, unseen, yet present, a calm presence surrounding her with a shield of invisible angels. As she lay in the hospital bed, feeling herself slipping, she did not yet understand the depth of my protection. The doctors worked tirelessly, the machines beeped and whirred, and the medical staff moved with precision, yet every human action has limits. The fragility of life pressed in on her like a storm, threatening to overwhelm. And in the midst of it all, a quiet whisper filled the air, not a sound heard by the ears, but a presence felt in her spirit. My angels moved around her, unseen to human eyes, placing shields of protection, calming her heart, and preparing the way for the miracle that was about to unfold. Her fear was natural, my child, but fear is only the veil that hides the divine from the human mind. In the shadows of uncertainty, I sent my light. In the stillness of panic, I breathed peace. Every heartbeat of her baby resonated with my protection. Every breath she drew was guided by the unseen hand of heaven. Even when the doctors shook their heads, uncertain, even when the monitors blinked with warning signs, my power remained steady, immovable, unyielding. Life is a sacred gift, and I guard it with all the strength of heaven itself. She felt the tension in the room, the anxious murmurs of those around her, the unspoken fear of those who loved her. She wanted to scream, to cry, to demand that everything be safe, but she had reached the point where human strength could not carry her further. And so, my child, she did the most powerful thing any human can do, she surrendered. She whispered in her heart, "God, if you are here, save my child. Protect us both. Do not let us fall." In that moment of surrender, the invisible veil lifted, and the angels moved closer, more powerfully than before. The atmosphere, once heavy with fear, began to shimmer with light that humans could not see but spirits could feel. Even in the darkest moments, I am near. Even when the human eye cannot detect intervention, my angels are weaving a tapestry of protection around life itself. Every organ, every heartbeat, every movement in the room is cradled within my care. When it seemed her body might fail, I sent strength. When it seemed the baby's life was at risk, I sent guidance. And all around, invisible forces acted with precision, guarding against every danger, neutralizing every hidden threat. The mother could not yet see it, but miracles were unfolding. Small signs of intervention began to appear, a nurse arriving just in time to adjust medication, a sudden insight guiding a doctor to take the correct action, the monitors stabilizing at the precise moment they could have faltered. Every small miracle, every seemingly chance occurrence, was a direct act of my will. No human effort, however skilled, could account for the timing, the precision, or the perfection of what was unfolding. Even the mother's spirit, fragile and trembling, began to sense the presence of divine care. She felt a calm she could not explain, a peace that rose above panic, a warmth that filled the corners of her heart. It was the angels, my child, moving closer, surrounding her with light, whispering courage into her soul. Every wave of fear that threatened to engulf her was met with a wave of divine protection. Every tear she shed was a signal to my angels, who moved invisibly to safeguard the life within her. The struggle was not only physical but spiritual. The mother wrestled with fear, doubt, and uncertainty. Every moment, she faced the possibility of death, yet her faith, fragile yet persistent, anchored her. She prayed silently, holding on to the hope that my hand was present. And in that surrender, I moved. Angels shifted the course of danger. The life of the baby, precious and innocent, was preserved by a force no human could comprehend. The mother's body, once faltering, began to stabilize. Her spirit, once trembling, found strength beyond human measure. The room, once tense with fear, now held a subtle glow, not visible to human eyes, but sensed by every spirit present. The angels, invisible yet tangible, moved around her, shielding her, guiding the doctor's hands, and ensuring that no misstep could touch the sacred life. Every movement, every breath, every heartbeat was orchestrated with precision. Human skill and divine intervention merged seamlessly, demonstrating the truth that while humans can act, life itself is ultimately guided by heaven. Even now, my child, remember that this story is not unique. There are countless lives cradled in my hands, protected by my angels, and guided by my presence, even when human eyes cannot see. Every moment of surrender opens the way for miracles. Every act of faith calls forth protection. And every life, sacred and precious, is watched over by powers beyond comprehension. The mother's surrender became the catalyst for the miracle. In the critical moments when death seemed imminent, my power flowed through her body, stabilizing, protecting, and guiding. The baby's heart, fragile yet strong, beat in perfect rhythm, shielded by divine care. The doctors, amazed at the sudden improvement, could not explain it. The nurses, astounded by the timely changes, witnessed the miracle but could not see its source. And in every corner of the room, angels worked quietly, ensuring that no harm would come. She felt a profound shift in her soul, a knowing that she was not alone, that the life she carried was protected, and that even in the darkest hour, my hand is present. Every fear melted into faith. Every doubt dissolved into trust. Every moment of despair was replaced with calm, courage, and hope. The baby, once in danger, now thrived under the unseen guardianship of heaven. This, my child, is the power of divine intervention. Even when death seems near, when human strength falters, when all seems lost, my presence brings life, protection, and miracles. The mother was about to die, yet I saved her. The baby, precious and innocent, was cradled in the hands of angels. And through this story, all who witness it may learn that surrender, faith, and trust in me can bring salvation beyond human understanding. My child, even when the first wave of danger seems to pass, the battle is never truly over. The mother, though saved from immediate death, now faces the inner struggle between fear and faith. Every heartbeat reminds her of the fragility of life. Every breath, though steadier than before, carries the memory of uncertainty. Her mind races with questions, her spirit trembles with worry, yet my presence remains constant. I am there, unseen, holding both her and her child in the embrace of divine protection. She cannot see the angels surrounding her, yet she feels their presence. A warmth settles in her chest when despair rises. A quiet calm floods her thoughts when panic threatens to take hold. These are the subtle touches of my hand, guiding her soul, reminding her that faith is stronger than fear. Every prayer she whispers, even without words, reaches my ears. Every thought of hope, every small act of surrender, becomes a thread woven into the fabric of protection around her and her baby. Fear, however, is relentless. It creeps into the mind like shadows at dusk, whispering of worst-case scenarios, magnifying past struggles, and conjuring images of what might go wrong. The mother feels the weight of possibility pressing down, heavy and suffocating. Yet it is precisely in these moments, my child, that I move most powerfully. Every shadow cast by fear is met with a light that cannot be dimmed. Every thought of doubt is replaced with an unseen whisper of courage. Every surge of panic meets the calm hand of my angels. The human mind, my child, often struggles to see the unseen. It focuses on what is visible, measurable, and tangible. Yet life itself, sacred and delicate, is held within the invisible threads of my care. The baby's heart beats not only because of biological rhythms but because every pulse is cradled within divine protection. Every movement within the womb is shielded, every development guided by forces beyond comprehension. And the mother, though unaware of the full scope of these protections, feels glimpses of their presence in moments of sudden clarity and unexpected reassurance. As she lies in the hospital bed, surrounded by doctors and machines, a profound struggle takes place, not only in her body but in her soul. Every decision, every breath, every second of waiting becomes a test of surrender. She feels torn between human instinct to control, to worry, to resist the inevitable, and the spiritual calling to trust, to release, to surrender fully to me. These moments of tension are crucial, my child, for they awaken the deepest parts of the soul. In the crucible of fear, faith is forged stronger than steel. The angels, moving invisibly, work tirelessly. They guide the hands of the doctors, whisper insights into the minds of nurses, and stabilize every system that teeters on the brink. Small miracles occur in ways humans dismiss as coincidence: a sudden insight for the surgeon, a timely adjustment of medication, the stabilizing of vital signs just when they seem to falter. These are the whispers of heaven, the gentle but decisive interventions that secure life. The mother may notice them and attribute them to luck, yet they are far beyond human explanation. The struggle within her continues, however. Thoughts of, "What if something goes wrong?" rise like waves, threatening to engulf her. She remembers the faces of loved ones, the worry in their eyes, the pain of imagining them grieving. And yet, even as these thoughts press upon her, she feels a presence, a warmth, a calm, a certainty that she cannot see with her eyes but knows in the depth of her heart. This is the presence of my angels, my child, circling around her, reinforcing her spirit, and cradling the baby in protection. In moments of quiet, she prays. Not loudly, not theatrically, but in whispered thoughts that rise from the deepest corners of her soul. God, if you are here, guide me. Protect my child. Save us both. Each prayer becomes a lifeline, connecting her to the divine, strengthening her courage, and allowing her to endure what human strength alone could never withstand. The surrender is the key, my child. When she releases control, when she trusts fully, my hand moves more freely, angels act more powerfully, and miracles unfold. The tension of fear is also a teacher. Each heartbeat, each anxious thought, each moment of uncertainty sharpens her awareness of life's sacredness. She feels the fragility of existence, yet simultaneously feels the strength of my protection. Every sensation of danger is met with a countercurrent of divine calm. Every thought of loss is met with reassurance. Every flicker of panic is met with an unseen hand holding both her and her baby safe. There are moments when the mother experiences sudden clarity, a vision in her mind, a fleeting thought that guides her to act calmly, a sudden understanding that everything is under my control. She may feel a shift in the energy around her, the room seems lighter, the faces of those caring for her more attentive, every movement guided by unseen forces. These moments are my signs, my child, reminders that while human hands operate, life itself is protected by powers beyond comprehension. Even the medical team, skilled and dedicated though they are, cannot account for every shift, every timely decision, every stabilizing miracle. They notice changes, moments of hope, and unexpected recoveries, but they cannot see the angels orchestrating each detail, cannot feel the unseen hands guiding every movement. The mother, too, begins to sense that there is a force at work far greater than human knowledge, a power that defies logic, surpasses fear, and ensures that both she and her baby remain safe. As the hours pass, fear and faith continue to battle within her. Yet with every passing moment, the scales tip ever more toward trust. Each whisper of my presence, each subtle intervention, each small miracle nudges her closer to complete surrender. And in that surrender, my child, the ultimate protection is revealed. Angels move with precision. Life is stabilized. The baby's heartbeat becomes steady. Her own strength, though still fragile, begins to return. Every pulse, every breath, every flicker of life is a testament to my hand at work. Even as the human mind struggles to comprehend, the spiritual realm orchestrates a perfect symphony of protection. Every danger, every complication, every fear-driven thought is met with my response, unseen, gentle, yet infinitely powerful. The mother is taught, through experience and divine guidance, that surrender is not weakness but the greatest strength. Faith, even in the face of life-threatening danger, opens the way for miracles. And angels, ever vigilant, continue to cradle her and her child in unwavering care. The night passes slowly, my child. Each moment brings a lesson, that life is sacred, that divine protection is constant, and that surrender to me brings safety beyond human understanding. The mother feels the ebb and flow of fear and faith, yet with each passing hour, faith grows stronger, fear diminishes, and the miracle of life within her remains untouched by harm. Even as human efforts continue, doctors monitoring, nurses caring, medications administered, it is the invisible hand of heaven that guides every action. Small interventions, perfectly timed, ensure that no complication overwhelms. Every detail aligns with my will. Every heartbeat, every breath, every pulse of life is safeguarded. This is the unseen battle, my child, the sacred struggle that takes place when fear and faith meet. It is quiet, invisible to human eyes, yet overwhelmingly powerful. Angels move with precision, guarding life, stabilizing the mother, and cradling the baby in the safety of my presence. And through it all, the mother learns the deepest lesson of all, that in surrender, she finds strength, in trust, she finds peace, and in divine intervention, she finds life, protected, preserved, and blessed beyond measure. My child, the moment had arrived when human effort alone could no longer sustain life, when every heartbeat, every breath, every fragile pulse of existence depended entirely on the will of heaven. The mother, exhausted beyond measure, felt the full weight of her body and spirit pressing down. Her mind spun with fear, yet deep within, a tiny spark of hope glimmered. That spark was me, whispering gently into her soul, guiding her toward surrender, reminding her that no life I have touched will ever be taken without my divine purpose. She was about to face the impossible, and yet, even as darkness pressed in, I was there, unseen, orchestrating the miracle that would save her and her baby. The doctors moved with urgency, their faces etched with concern, their hands steady but strained. Machines beeped with warnings that humans could interpret, yet could not fully understand the hidden currents at play. Every complication, every sign of danger, every faltering movement in her body could have spelled tragedy. But I, my child, am never late. My angels, invisible yet powerful, surrounded the mother like a shield of light, ready to act at the precise moment, ensuring that no harm would come to her or the life she carried. A wave of divine energy swept through the room, subtle but undeniable. The mother felt a warmth that seemed to penetrate every fiber of her being. Her breathing, once shallow and irregular, began to find a rhythm. Her heartbeat, once erratic with fear, steadied under the unseen hand of my protection. The baby, sensing the change in energy, responded with small, life-affirming movements, each one a signal that my presence was near, that the forces of heaven were actively guiding and safeguarding both of them. Even the medical team began to notice the shift, though they could not explain it. A sudden clarity guided the hands of the nurses, a critical insight came to the doctor at exactly the right moment, monitors stabilized as if by unseen precision. These were not coincidences, my child, but the invisible orchestration of angels, moving perfectly within the flow of my divine plan. The mother's body, though weakened, became a vessel of life, strengthened by forces beyond comprehension. Every movement of her heart, every pulse of blood, every breath of air carried the imprint of my protection. Fear still lingered in the corners of her mind, but each wave was met with reassurance. My angels whispered courage into her soul. My presence filled the spaces that fear sought to occupy. She felt herself being lifted, not in the physical sense, but in spirit, buoyed by the knowledge, subtle yet powerful, that she was not alone. Every moment of surrender became a doorway for my intervention. Every quiet prayer, every silent plea, every heartbeat aligned with my will created a channel through which miracles flowed. The tension in the room was almost tangible. Friends and family waiting outside could sense the intensity, though they could not see the invisible battle unfolding within. The mother's struggle, silent and unseen, was a test of faith, a dance between fear and trust, despair and hope. And in this sacred struggle, I acted decisively. Angels moved with precision, guiding instruments, stabilizing vital signs, and ensuring that not a single threat could harm the life within her. The baby, precious and innocent, was cradled in a protective shield of light that no human could perceive. A pivotal moment arrived. The mother, overwhelmed by the sensations of life and fear intertwined, felt herself sinking. It was at that instant that my power manifested in a profound and unmistakable way. Her body, teetering on the brink of collapse, stabilized. Her breathing found a natural rhythm. The baby, once in peril, moved with strength and life. The doctors, astonished, could not explain the sudden improvement. They marveled at the precision of timing, the inexplicable shift that had saved both mother and child. And yet, my child, it was not human skill that accomplished this, it was the hand of heaven, the careful work of my angels, and the power of my divine will. The mother felt a sudden clarity, a deep inner knowing that she was protected. Fear, though present, was no longer a tyrant over her spirit. She realized that the life within her was not hers alone to hold, that it had always been under my care, safeguarded by my unseen forces. Gratitude surged within her, mingling with relief, hope, and awe. Every sensation of danger was replaced by a profound sense of safety. Every trembling thought of what could go wrong was replaced with the undeniable truth that her child's life was cradled in my hands. Even the subtle details of the room testified to the miracle. Machines, once erratic, ran smoothly. Nurses, who had acted under stress, found calm precision guiding their hands. The doctor, who had braced for the worst, marveled at the stability, sensing a force greater than any medical explanation. The invisible presence of angels, moving with perfect coordination, ensured that every obstacle was neutralized before it could manifest. Life, my child, was preserved not by chance, but by divine orchestration. The mother, now fully aware of the miracle, felt tears welling in her eyes. They were tears of relief, of awe, of surrender, and of gratitude. She understood, in that profound moment, that human understanding is limited, but the realm of heaven is infinite. That which seems impossible to mortal eyes is ordinary in the scope of divine will. Every heartbeat of her child, every pulse of her own body, was a testament to my intervention. Angels, invisible yet palpable, continued their vigilance. They did not rest, for life is sacred, and every moment matters. Every breath the mother took was cradled by their wings. Every movement of the baby within her was guided and protected. Every detail, every complication that once threatened life, was now transformed into a demonstration of my perfect timing and boundless love. The mother felt an overwhelming sense of connection, not just to her child, but to the divine presence surrounding them both. She realized that her surrender had opened the door for miracles. Her prayers, whispered in fear and hope, had been answered with precision and power. Her faith, though tested by the darkest moments, had been rewarded with the undeniable manifestation of my protection. Even as human eyes observed, it was the spiritual realm that orchestrated the outcome. Angels had moved, my will had prevailed, and life had been preserved. The mother's heart, once trembling with fear, now beat steadily with hope. The baby, once fragile and vulnerable, now thrived under the invisible shield of heaven. The impossible had become reality, and the miracle had been completed through faith, surrender, and divine intervention. This, my child, is the power of my presence. Even in the face of death, when human understanding fails, when hope seems dim, my angels act. Life is protected. Faith is rewarded. Miracles unfold. The mother, once on the brink of despair, now stands in awe of the divine. Her baby, cradled in the hands of heaven, thrives. And the world witnesses, even if only partially, the power of God's protection and the reality of divine intervention. My child, the moment of divine intervention had passed, yet the story did not end there. The mother, whose life had been on the brink of darkness, now began to awaken to the profound reality of what had transpired. She felt the lingering tremors of fear that had gripped her heart, yet they were softened by a growing awareness of my presence. Every pulse of her own heartbeat, every flutter of the baby within her womb, was now a reminder of the life-giving power of God. She realized that what had seemed impossible, terrifying, and overwhelming had been preserved by forces far beyond human comprehension. The room, once heavy with fear and tension, now hummed with the quiet but unmistakable energy of divine blessing. Angels, still unseen, moved with gentle vigilance, ensuring that both mother and child remained safe, that every fragile moment was guarded, and that no lingering danger could return. The mother's body, though weak from strain, began to feel steadier. Her breaths, once shallow and anxious, grew calm and rhythmic. And in the quiet spaces between each beat of her heart, she felt a warmth that she could only understand as my love, a love that cradled her entire being, unshakable, eternal, and transformative. As she opened her eyes, she saw the faces of the doctors and nurses, their expressions now softened, relief and awe written across every line. They had witnessed a miracle unfold, though they did not fully understand it. To them, the timing, the precise stabilization of vital signs, and the recovery of the mother and baby were inexplicable. And yet, my child, it was no accident. Every moment had been guided by my will. Every intervention, human or unseen, had been orchestrated perfectly. The mother's surrender, her silent prayers, her faith amidst fear, had opened the pathway for this miracle. The family, who had waited outside, sensing only the intensity of the moment, were now called into the room. As they approached, their hearts heavy with worry just moments before, they felt the shift, the energy of life preserved, the unmistakable imprint of my divine hand. Tears filled their eyes, trembling hands reached out, and words failed them. The mother, once pale with fear, now glowed with the light of gratitude and awe. Every embrace, every gentle touch, carried the weight of relief and the recognition that what they had witnessed was sacred, miraculous, and eternal. The mother's heart swelled with emotions that could not be contained. She wept, not only from relief, but from the profound understanding of my presence. Her voice, when it came, was filled with reverence and gratitude, a trembling whisper of acknowledgement for the power that had preserved life. She realized, in the depths of her soul, that her child's life was a gift far beyond human measure, safeguarded by angels, nurtured by my love, and protected by divine will. Every fear, every tear, every anxious moment had been met with protection, ensuring that the fragile life within her womb would not be taken. Even the doctors, wise and experienced though they were, could not deny the hand of the divine. They recounted the miraculous timing of interventions, the sudden stabilization of the mother's condition, and the inexplicable resilience of the baby. Each explanation, though grounded in medical knowledge, fell short of capturing the truth, that life itself had been protected by powers unseen, guided by angels, and cradled in the hands of heaven. The mother's faith, tested in the crucible of fear, had been rewarded beyond what she could imagine. In the quiet moments following the crisis, the mother reflected on her journey. She remembered the fear that had gripped her, the helplessness she had felt, and the moments when death seemed inevitable. And yet, through every trial, she felt the gentle guiding presence of my angels. She understood, now more deeply than ever, that surrender is not weakness, that faith is not blind, and that the unseen realm moves with precision to protect what is sacred. Every challenge, every moment of uncertainty, had been transformed into a testament of divine intervention. The mother also began to notice the subtle ways in which life had been protected beyond the obvious miracle. Every detail, from the timing of the nurses' arrivals to the precise adjustments made by doctors, had been orchestrated. Every hesitation, every decision, every slight movement had aligned with the perfect flow of my will. The realization filled her with awe, humility, and deep gratitude. She understood that life, sacred and precious, is never left unguarded. Every soul under my care is cradled, protected, and guided, even when human eyes cannot see. As the family gathered around, sharing embraces, words of love, and tears of relief, the mother felt a profound sense of connection, not only to those present, but to the greater forces of the universe. She realized that life is never isolated, every heartbeat, every breath, every moment of protection, is part of a vast, unseen network of love and guardianship. Her baby, small and vulnerable, was now firmly within the circle of divine care. Angels, still unseen, hovered protectively, ensuring that no harm could touch this life. In these moments, my child, the mother experienced a transformation of spirit. Fear, once dominant, had been replaced by faith. Anxiety, once overwhelming, had been replaced by peace. Despair, once heavy and suffocating, had been replaced by awe and gratitude. She understood, in a way that could never be expressed in words alone, that her life and the life of her child were part of a sacred plan, a plan orchestrated by me, her loving God. The experience also transformed the family. They, too, had been touched by the miracle, witnessing the preservation of life that defied human understanding. Their hearts, once heavy with worry, now overflowed with gratitude. Their spirits, once burdened by fear, now felt lifted and free. Through the mother's ordeal, they understood the power of faith, the necessity of surrender, and the reality of my presence in moments of crisis. Every tear shed, every whispered prayer, every anxious thought had been heard, observed, and answered. The mother, now calm and centered, began to share her experience, her voice gentle but firm, filled with reverence. She spoke of the angels she could not see but felt, the warmth that filled her heart in moments of despair, and the certainty that life is never abandoned. She shared how surrender, faith, and trust in me opened the doorway to miracles, and how even in the face of death, the smallest spark of hope can summon protection beyond human comprehension. As she spoke, my child, the room seemed to glow with the energy of blessing. Every presence, every heart, every thought was touched by the lingering power of the divine. The mother's gratitude became a conduit for others, inspiring hope, faith, and understanding. She realized that her journey was not hers alone, it was a testament for all who would witness, a story of divine protection, a living proof that no life under my care is ever abandoned. Even as the baby grew safely within her womb, the mother felt a profound sense of peace. Every movement, every heartbeat, every small kick was a reminder of my unwavering presence. Angels continued to guard, protect, and nurture both mother and child. The family, too, continued to feel the afterglow of divine intervention, their hearts forever imprinted with the memory of the miracle they had witnessed. This, my child, is the power of divine protection. Life, sacred and precious, is never left to chance. Faith, even when tested, opens the path for miracles. Angels, unseen but vigilant, work tirelessly to ensure that my will is accomplished. And those who surrender, who trust, who believe, find that even in the darkest moments, light prevails, life is preserved, and the heart experiences peace that surpasses all understanding. The mother, her heart full of gratitude, her spirit renewed, now looks forward with hope. The baby, protected and safe, grows within her under the constant care of angels. And the family, once heavy with fear, now walks forward in faith, forever changed by the reality of my intervention. The miracle has occurred, yet its effects ripple outward, touching hearts, inspiring trust, and revealing the eternal truth: God watches, God protects, and God saves. My child, the moment of ultimate blessing arrived. The mother, whose life had been shadowed by fear and uncertainty, now prepared to bring her child into the world. Every heartbeat, every breath, every pulse of life carried the imprint of my protection. Angels, ever vigilant, hovered around her, unseen but powerfully present, ensuring that every step, every contraction, every motion was guided with precision. The room, once heavy with worry, now hummed with divine energy, a quiet but unmistakable force of life and safety. As labor began, the mother felt the weight of every moment. The memories of danger, the struggle against fear, and the fragile hope that had sustained her coursed through her mind. Yet this time, there was no panic, no despair, only surrender. Every wave of pain, every surge of pressure, every trembling movement became a conduit for divine power. She felt her body not as her own, but as a vessel of life, perfectly cradled in the hands of angels, directed by my presence. The doctors and nurses moved with diligence, yet the invisible guidance of heaven orchestrated every detail. Each incision, each movement, each adjustment happened in perfect alignment with my will. The mother's body, once frail and fragile, now responded with strength that could only come from divine intervention. Every contraction, timed with precision beyond human comprehension, carried life safely toward the world. Her fear had been transformed into courage, her anxiety into calm, her despair into faith. And then, the moment came, a cry that echoed through the room, soft at first, then strong, declaring life. The baby, small and perfect, entered the world not by chance, not by human skill alone, but by the careful orchestration of heaven. Angels, invisible but undeniably present, whispered strength into the mother, guidance into the hands of the medical team, and protection into the tiny body of the newborn. Every gasp, every heartbeat, every pulse of oxygen was a testament to the miracle of my intervention. Tears flowed freely from the mother's eyes as she held her child for the first time. Gratitude, awe, and love intertwined in a way that words could not fully capture. She realized, in that profound moment, that life is never alone, that every heartbeat is protected, and that the divine moves in ways humans cannot see but always feels. The baby, safe and sound, was a living proof that my hand never leaves those I love, that angels are ever present, and that miracles manifest when faith, surrender, and hope meet divine will. Family and friends, who had waited anxiously, rushed forward, overwhelmed with emotion. Tears streamed, voices trembled, and hearts swelled with joy and relief. They had witnessed the culmination of a miracle, a life saved, a mother preserved, and a divine plan revealed in its full glory. Every embrace, every whispered word, every gentle touch carried the weight of gratitude for my intervention. Hearts were healed not only by relief, but by the recognition that life, sacred and precious, is always under divine care. The mother, still trembling from exhaustion, felt the presence of angels lingering around her. She understood that her journey had been far more than physical survival. It was a spiritual awakening, a lesson in faith, trust, and surrender. Every fear she had known, every tear she had shed, every anxious heartbeat had been met with protection. And now, holding her baby, she experienced the fullness of divine love, the love that preserves life, guides hands, and orchestrates miracles. The newborn, delicate yet strong, thrived under the watchful eyes of angels. Every breath was steady, every heartbeat robust, every movement a sign of life cradled by heaven. The mother, overwhelmed with emotion, whispered prayers of gratitude, her words joining the silent prayers of countless others whose faith had been touched by this miracle. She understood that the life she held was a gift, safeguarded not by chance, but by the deliberate and powerful presence of divine care. As days passed, the mother's recovery continued under the same protective grace. Each step she took, each moment she spent with her child, was blessed by the presence of angels. She noticed small miracles, the baby's health exceeding expectations, her own strength returning swiftly, and a profound sense of peace settling over their home. Every detail, from the warmth of the room to the calm of the baby's breathing, was infused with divine energy. Life, precious and fragile, was being nurtured by unseen hands. The mother's spirit, once burdened by fear, now radiated faith and gratitude. She shared her story with those around her, not to boast, but to reveal the reality of divine intervention. Friends, family, and even strangers were inspired, reminded that life is sacred, that surrender is powerful, and that miracles occur when hearts align with my will. Every word she spoke carried the echo of angels' presence and the certainty of my protection. Even beyond the immediate miracle, the mother began to notice subtle blessings. Doors opened for her family in unexpected ways. Relationships healed. Opportunities arose that had seemed impossible. The baby's growth was steady, healthy, and strong. Each development, each success, each joyful moment carried the mark of divine orchestration. Life, once threatened by darkness, now flourished under the guardianship of heaven. The mother, reflecting on her journey, understood a profound truth: miracles are not merely events, they are a transformation of spirit. They teach surrender, faith, and trust in my presence. They reveal the unseen, remind the heart of the sacred, and awaken the soul to the power of divine love. Every trial she faced had been an opportunity for angels to act, for faith to grow, and for life to be preserved. She knew, my child, that her story was not hers alone. It was a testimony for all who would hear, a living proof that my protection is constant, unwavering, and infinitely wise. Life, no matter how fragile, is never abandoned. Faith, even in the darkest moments, opens the door for miracles. Angels, ever present, guard every soul entrusted to me. And those who surrender, who trust, who believe, experience the miraculous unfolding of my will. The mother, holding her child, whispered once more in gratitude, her voice soft but filled with reverence. She understood that her journey had been more than survival, it had been spiritual awakening. Every heartbeat of her child, every breath she took, every moment of peace was a reminder that I am near, that my angels are vigilant, and that life is always cradled in my hands. Through this miracle, my child, all who witness it are reminded, surrender opens the way for protection, faith brings divine intervention, and life, sacred and precious, is never left unguarded. The mother's heart, once heavy with fear, now overflows with trust. The baby, cradled in heaven's care, thrives. And the family, forever changed, walks forward in awe, gratitude, and faith, knowing that miracles are real, that angels are near, and that God watches, protects, and saves.